Welcome to The Stars Made Me Do It. And it's Virgo season. We're recording our Virgo episode today.
Happy Virgo season.
All right. So we have done these in the past, long time ago, you and I. But why not revisit it? It's Virgo season. The rebirth, the revamp is happening, right?
Yeah. It's the rebirth of everything, really. And since there's so many options this time around, we're just going to do an overview of a general Virgo episode. This is pretty much focusing on Virgo suns. Mm-hmm. But, you can apply that to whatever Virgo placements you have. But we would love to know for future episodes, for Libra season, for Scorpio season, for Sag season, if you would like a specific episode such as, Mars in Libra or Venus in Scorpio or Mercury in Sag. If there's something specific that you are interested in, instead of just a full overview episode, we love talking about all the specific things in true Virgo fashion. So let us know, and you can reach out to us on the socials platforms, at The Stars Made Me Podcast and Instagram, TikTok. And if you'd like to be part of our cosmic sign-off or reach out to us in a more traditional fashion, you can email us at thestarsmademepodcast@gmail.com. And today we are doing an overview of Virgo archetype qualities and just why we love Virgo energy.
Yes. Happy Virgo season.
Happy Virgo season. And this is kind of cool too, because years back when you and I discussed Virgos, literally 6 years ago when you and I discussed Virgos, neither one of us had, I would say, prominent Virgos in our lives. And now we both have prominent Virgos in our lives. Mm-hmm, and I've always, really vibed well with Virgo energy, which is kind of interesting because I am a Sagittarius, and you would think that square of mutable fire and mutable earth wouldn't totally vibe. But yeah, I've always really vibed well with Virgo energy, and you have always had an interesting, I feel relationship with Virgo energy.
Yes, where they just irritate me a little bit, and I don't want to be irritated by them, and I shouldn't. I don't know that many. I could put it that way, but I've clashed with them. But also, I think that the universe gives us what we need 100%, and the two signs that I struggled with are Cancer and Virgo, and I have Cancer and Virgo children, and I love them. I love them more than anything. But it's I think that it was that they were given to me. They were born under those signs as a lesson to be here they are, Tara. You need to learn from them. They'll learn from you. And so I do love Virgos. I'm fine with Virgos. I don't hate any of the signs. We don't hate on any of the signs. And the stars made me do it. But yes, I do love Virgos now.
Yeah, it's the relationship has changed. Maybe there's more of an appreciation.
Yes. And there's also a humor to them too that I did not know about, where
yes.
Well, we'll get into it. But I guess let's talk about the it's an earth sign. Yes. Feminine, aka internal, mutable, and they are ruled by the planet Mercury.
Mercury is such It's so fun that Mercury rules two different signs, because it rules Virgo and it rules Gemini. And Virgo is this earth sign and Gemini is an air sign. And so we're talking about Mercury, which is how you process information. It's how you think. It's how you learn, teach, communicate. It's all the internal processing and external communication, exchanging of information. That's all mercurial. That's what it does. And when it's an earth sign, it's very practical. It's very tangible. And it's very, like you said, it's this mutable sign, which means it's the last sign of summer. It's going with the flow. It's getting ready for the next season. But if you think about it elementally, Virgo is an earth sign, and that's the least movable of the signs. And so for being a mutable sign, it's still not the most adaptable, the most mutable, the most go with the flow. And then you think about Gemini, which is an air sign, which is the element that is the most, or you can't capture air. And so there's Mercury when it's, thoughts running wild in this airy way, and then you have Mercury in a Virgo way of, okay, put it into practical use, make it purposeful, have this information, like let's find the source of this information, let's document this information, let's use this in an organizational optimizing fashion, let's analyze this information. And that's the Virgo side of things. So I mean, I feel like Virgos are winning when it comes to like the having your shit together Mercury, but then Geminis are winning for like the fun Mercury, because
the fun and the speed. Where like just like a good physical example, my mom's a Gemini, and Mercury moves fast, and like she's told me as a child, like she could not walk, she had to run everywhere and get things done. So, and even now she gets things done so quickly.
She's flitting always.
Yes,
that's like
but always
the
on
Gemini
the move.
energy.
Yes. So
whereas
I think
whereas Virgo is the slow and steady, wins the race. If you're a tarot person, Gemini is the Knight of Swords, and then Virgo is the Knight of Pentacles. They're both in motion. They're both moving. They're both preparing for the next season. But the Knight of Swords is like, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going. And then the Knight of Pentacles is like, I have a very clear plan of where I'm going, but I'm going to go slowly in case there are factors that change, and I can then adapt to those factors. And so it's just a different energy. And Virgo's bringing us practicality and reliability with that earth to it, because it's very grounded. And then like we always, I don't know, anyone who knows and loves a Virgo or is a Virgo, there's a detail oriented nature to Virgos. There is like they can see the tiniest details, and I will get into it more when we get to like the Virgos that we like know, kind of examples of Virgos Virgoing. But I think of, because I'm a Sagittarius and I'm in a relationship with a Virgo, and so I think of the Sag to Virgo as the telescope versus the microscope. And those two can so get along. Like I said, I've always gotten along with Virgos, but it feels like you have to know what tool you're using, because if you try to ask a Virgo to use a telescope and they're looking at something microscopic, detail oriented, they're going to be like, what the hell is this? I can't make sense of it. And same with the Sag. If you're asking them to look at the big picture, but you're giving them a microscope, that it doesn't work that way. So I really see Virgo energy as the microscope energy, because they are focusing in on what makes up all of the bigger things. And man, I think we're all grateful for that in the world.
I love that analogy. And also I just think it's so funny. I think I've mentioned this to you. Near where my in-laws live, there is a shop that sells microscopes and telescopes. And that's it. And I'm like, you guys have to go there.
Yes. That's us.
Yes.
Oh my God. I love that. I love that. But in addition to like that detail oriented, I mean, Virgos have the ability to see the small things. And because of that, they are so able to create systems, and they are able to create routines. They're able to be logical and strategic because of that detail-oriented energy. But then there also comes with that a perfectionism, and overly critical and overthinking, because like, you mentioned in a previous episode that your daughter, who's a Virgo, like she saw dirt on the floor and she was like, I don't like this, like do something about it now.
Yeah, I have many Virgo stories to share about her that are, it's just wild how spot on at only 2 years old what a Virgo she is. But yeah, she can't have dirt on the floor. And I'm like, it's fine. I'll clean it up in a minute. We'll take care of that later. And she's like, but we can't have this here right now.
And that's the microscope, where it's like, it feels like it takes up all of the lens. But when you step back, from the microscope, you're like, oh, that's actually just a microscopic thing. I can continue living my life and deal with that at a later time, if at all. Yes. But when you're looking at the microscope and you're looking at things on such a molecular level, it's so intricate and so all-encompassing that's why Virgo energy can really get focused and stuck sometimes in those details, to the point where they're overperforming, trying to perfect everything, whereas they have the ability to adapt. Like they don't have to perfect it in that moment. They will have the ability to adapt. But I think that most Virgos are like, I want to do it right the first time so that I don't have to deal with it later. But they're still very able to adapt. I feel like that's the difference between like Virgo energy and Taurus energy. Is Taurus will continue no matter what on the path, no matter if it's still the right path, because they said they were going to do it. Whereas I think a lot of people think that about Virgos because of their detail-oriented, very critical, and, you know, perfectionism tendencies. But I think they're very open, actually, to shifting. It's just they need to assess everything and analyze it first. Yeah. So
Yeah, I agree.
So we have they're creating systems and routines. They're also, oh my God, they're acts of service. They are so acts of service, love language people, and I mean we'll talk about this with like the archetypes, but they are like so serving of service to others.
I feel like that's a very earthy thing too. You think about the earth signs. I think all the earth signs are acts of service kind of people.
I think that they can be, because Earth deals with the tangible, practical world. And so, like, I mean, both my parents are Earth signs. They're, you know, very much going to make sure that, like, when I'm home, they're going to help with my laundry. They're going to cook dinner for me. They're going to help me get to and from the airport. They're, you know, when I did, like, live in a relatively closer distance to my family, you know, my dad would be the one, like, okay, well, let me check your tires when I'm here. Let's see if, like, does anything need to be, like, you know, organized and taken to the dump. Like, you know, they're very practical,
responsible.
Yeah, there is a responsibility because they're very much living in the grounded real world, and so they're like that acts of service. It's so true. It is very earth signy when you think about it. Yeah. And then Virgos are also really known for being humble and like not anything in excess. They're the whole like they're not very wasteful too, because that would be inefficient, and they're all about that efficiency. So often, you know, they can go without I mean, I feel like Virgo energy is, I have this shirt and these pants that work. I'm going to make that my uniform. I'm going to make that my whatever. Like, I found the practical thing that works, you know?
I know someone who is like that, who wore like the same outfit all the time, like in different colors. I won't even say in different colors. It was a lot of black, but yes, someone who was like, this is an outfit that looks good on me. It's flattering. I'm going to wear different variations of this outfit.
Yep. And like
for everything,
it's practical. Yeah. But there is also like there can be like a humble, devotional humility to Virgo as well, because they are like, Virgo is not the sign. It's funny how like going through the zodiac wheel, it follows Leo, and Leo is so about the notice me in the spotlight, and then we pass it on to Virgo, which is like, that does not interest me. What interests me is being useful. Virgo wants to be useful and helpful and devotional, and it's also like thought of that Virgo and Sagittarius. It's interesting because even though they are so like they can clash in those ways, they're both known as being very I guess religious isn't the right word, but like there's a Virgo is known to be devotional in like a holy way, and Sagittarius is all about the philosophy and the religious figure type of person.
Okay.
And so it shows in different ways if we think about that microscope and telescope. But with the Virgo side of things, it's like you think about, I don't have like knowledge and background in organized religion, but I do know that like Virgo energy is often described as someone, you know, in, you know, behind the scenes in the church in whatever devotional way, where they don't need earthly needs. They don't have to have their own possessions. They don't have to have, because the whole idea is to be purely devoted to others.
Isn't Mother Teresa a Virgo? Am I making that up?
I don't know, but that, I mean, she's giving Virgo energy.
We'll just look that up. We'll look that up real quick. Yeah, she is.
That's so perfect.
She died in Virgo season.
That's wild. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's the energy though of like, I don't need to keep anything for myself. I'm here to be of service. And then you know, you can also have that burnout from over serving. Like you do still need to take care of yourself. And there's a big tendency of self-sacrifice with Virgo energy, or like also like making yourself a martyr in a way. And that's where, you know, that's not the Virgo energy that you want to embody. Like that's not the higher frequency of Virgo energy, let's say. But Mother Teresa, there we go. Like what a, I guess the religious example of being in devotion to something to the point of like, I don't need the earthly needs and things. I just need the pure. And that's why, moving on to archetypes, that Virgo's known as the Virgin. And that, like, I don't know, I feel like in today's day and age, it feels like super offensive and just ridiculous. Like, I don't know, that's just, I feel like it's so stupid. But
it is
my opinion. But the origins of that is like spiritual, devoted purity of purpose. And so I get it in those. And like, I also feel like it's often depicted with like an angel, you know, when you see like an image. And so it's like, there is this spiritual, devotional, pure energy. But I also, just fun fact, I think it's really funny because in French, in the, like when you say the different signs of the zodiac, a lot of times it's just very literal. Like, you know, for example, Pisces is poisson, which just means fish. Like if you say, you know, I am a Pisces, you are literally saying I am a fish.
And isn't Libra just balance?
Balance,
like
balance.
Yeah.
And so it's just balance. And then, so you have to be careful with Virgo, because when you say I'm a Virgo in French, because Virgo is known as the Virgin, you are literally saying I am a virgin. And so you have to like really specify that you're talking about zodiac. You don't just like, hey, I'm Ciera, I'm a virgin. Like it would be like, wait, what? You know, you have to like be like, oh, my zodiac sign
introduces herself.
Yeah. Where it's not uncommon for me to be like, I'm a Sagittarius. But yeah, so I just think that is funny, and you gotta be careful about that one in French.
Yeah, there are little French things. I remember seeing like I think it was Mika on a whatever show he's on where he's a judge. And
The Voice.
And he said something like,
yes,
you are very good. But they
Yes.
were like, no, you can't say it that way because you're implying very good in another way or something like that.
No, it's true. Like, and I didn't know that. Like, you can't just say, vous êtes très bonne. Apparently, because that just means you are very good, but it implies like in a sexual way. You would have to say vous êtes une bonne chanteuse, like you're a very good singer. You have to specify it. And those are, oh man, however many years living in France and learning French, and there's still those little things that come up.
Yeah, I like that we're getting a little French lesson here.
Yeah, right. Well, so just be wary if you are speaking French and saying that you're a Virgo. Really specify before you say that my zodiac sign is.
Yes. Yes.
So that it's not like, why is this person telling me this? So the archetypes of Virgo are the healer, the master craftsperson, the analyst, the caretaker, the herbalist, the editor. And I mean, there's many more, but those are some of the archetypes we think of when we think of Virgo. And it's so funny because I'm just thinking of like one of my very best friends is a Virgo,
and she's an editor, right?
Like that's her job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm thinking of my boyfriend who's a Virgo, and like it's the master craft person, and just like the amount of crafting that has been happening like I like to craft in like making fun bookmarks with stickers and things, but he's like, I'm gonna build a, you know, what's it called? Like my English is leaving me. Like when something's perfectly fitting, personalized, I don't know, like custom. Thank you. Like a custom panel to fit in the window to have the air conditioner go out of it. And I'm going to go, like he's made like a mini workshop station in like, you know, a French apartment. Like I need to be able to craft and build things with materials. And it's like, of course that's Virgo energy. And I feel like that shows the crafting and the editing show that detail oriented that we talked about. And also in general, I mean, I don't want to say in general, in some cases, the craftsmen and like the editors, it's not often for your own work. You know, like I am crafting something that someone else will be able to use. I am editing someone else's work. And same with that, you know, caretaker, healer, that's something that you're doing for other people, which is bringing all of that back to that acts of service energy.
I'm having a thought.
Yeah.
A personal thought
What
about
is your
this.
thought
Okay,
you're
so
having?
my what is this thought? I have my Mercury is in Virgo, right? Okay.
Yeah.
At at my job, I do editing for other people. And then there are times when I have to create something and I'm like, I just kind of throw it to whoever is like available. I'm like, can you just look this over and make sure, because I've been staring at this for so long. I'm not even seeing it anymore. You know, like I need fresh eyes on it. And I'm fine with editing other people's work, but editing my own work is like, I don't, also triple Libra here. So like we have that issue. But like yesterday, I made an email that was going out and I looked through it. I swear like five times. I read through the whole thing and then I sent it to my friend and I'm like, can you just look this over and make sure there's no like glaring mistakes? And she's like, right away, the first sentence, she's like, you wrote the first sentence 2 times. I'm like, oh my God. Like, and
I feel
it
like
kills me a little bit when that happens. And it happens all the time where like anytime I send out something for someone else to review that I did, there's just a stupid mistake. Like just a stupid glaring mistake like that. But yeah, what is that? Why can't I get my shit together in that way?
I have thoughts. Well, one thing I will say while we're recording this, it is Mercury retrograde. So that is a factor.
Yes, that's
there.
true.
But you're saying it's something that is recurring. And that just brought me right back to the microscope example of being like, I've focused so deeply on this that I was unable to zoom out a little bit. And because I feel like that's such a
Maybe
Virgo possibility, because there's that self criticism as well. Whereas I think Virgos, it can be to an excessive degree, but you know, critiquing others, that's what they do best. And so when you're critiquing someone else's work, there's no emotions there. Mercury is a neutral planet too. Like Mercury is not like, it's just very neutral in the way where it's not to be mean. It's this word is either spelled correctly or it's not, you know? And so I feel like with that criticizing someone else, it's not being mean. It's just you're telling them what is correct or not.
Yes.
But then when we do that to ourselves, there's like ego involved and there's, you know, just, I don't know, like self, like blindness or whatever. And that's so interesting. I love that though, because you are the person who does that for the company. But then when you need to do it yourself, it's like, I'm too deep. I'm too zoomed in my microscope.
Yes, definitely.
And so when it comes to Virgos in our lives, when it comes to Virgo babes, your little Virgo babe, or, you know, I have so many close friends that are Virgos. I work really closely with a Virgo as well. So, I mean, I have really only positive things to say about Virgos. And I will say that I think I've always attracted Virgo energy because I have so much earth in my chart. And there is so much Sagittarius there, but I think it's all of my Capricorn that attracts Virgo energy. I think it's the Sagittarius that attracts Virgo energy, and then it's the Capricorn that makes them stay. No, but it's like
you reel them in.
I reel them in with the Sag, and I keep them grounded with the Cap. But like,
Yeah.
I think that there's something that Virgo craves unclenching. And Sagittarius is great at getting signs to unclench. But then also all of my Capricorn is like, yeah, I understand that you have an appointment at 5 p.m. I promise you'll be there on time. But let's have freaking fun before that. And so there's like that, you know, you can count on Virgo energy. Virgo energy is reliable. And so being around Virgos, like I think a way to get them to loosen the grip that they have, because they are worriers. They're over worriers because they can see all the details of how things could go wrong, you know? So it's like shift that to how things could go right, but also I guess be aware of and honor that reliable nature that they have, and that'll be a way to like, I guess, loosen that up a little bit. But I'd love to know some of your examples of the Virgos in your life Virgoing.
Okay, well, yes, because at the moment, as we know, the Virgo I'm closest with is 2, almost 3. A little thing she's been doing lately, which I can only I'm attributing this to her being a Virgo. My desk is currently in the dining room. It's where I work. It's good. I can see her. I can see her playroom. I can see the living room. I can keep an eye on her while I'm working. And if she wants something from the kitchen, I can go around the dining room table this way, or I can go around the dining room table that way. She does not like me going around the dining room table on the left side. And if I go to go around the left side, she's like, no, mommy. And she brings me back and makes me walk the other way around the table. And it's bizarre. And she's just particular in how she wants things done and who's going to do them for her. Like yesterday, the dog wanted to come in and I got up to let him in. And she was like, no, mommy, I want this person to let the dog in. And was like adamant that like, you're not letting him in. That's not what I wanted. It's the only thing I can think, because I have another child and she was not like that at all. She's just so particular in how she wants things done. And you know, we all know toddlers have the baby rage, most of them anyway. Her rage comes out when she's not being understood. And Virgos are good at communicating.
Yeah.
So that's what I figure is happening, because sometimes she gets really angry and it's mostly when she's not being understood or trying to express something that just, you know, she's saying a word and I don't know what the word is, and she just gets more and more angry the more I ask her what she's saying. So a lot of the time I'm just like, oh yeah, that's nice, even though I don't know what she's talking about.
No, but like that's so true, that like not being able to communicate, but also like Virgos have such a clear mind of like what it is that they're expressing when they're like honed in on something, that would be so frustrating for Virgo energy to be like, what do you mean you don't understand this? And that's that microscope being really focused in again, where it's like, oh, I've been staring at this for like this many hours and I am a master in molecular biology or whatever, you know, like of course this other person isn't going to understand the words that just came out of my mouth. But like when you're in that, that's so zoomed in.
I'm hoping as she can speak better and say words more clearly and really express herself, the rage will tone down, the communication will go up, and it'll be good. But I mean, it is just really funny, just little things where she doesn't like a little mess here. She needs things done very particularly and exactly how she wants them done. Which is just the opposite of me, where I'm like, whatever. I said to her, I was like, it doesn't matter which way I go around the table to get into the kitchen. It's about the destination. I'm like, I'm in the kitchen anyway. I'm here. It doesn't matter how I got there.
That is so Virgo, being like, but this is the way that makes the most sense, or like the optimized way, which I will talk about like my Virgo story. Or so my boyfriend's a Virgo, and the amount of times that he will say, I'm going to optimize the blank, like I'm going to optimize like just like the panel that he like custom made for the window. He's like, I'm going to optimize this by adding insulation. I'm going to optimize the like whatever by adding this like exhaust to the AC. I'm going to optimize this. And like we were like, you know, looking at like this one space, and it was like very it was like an older like house design, and it had so much character to it. And he was like, normally I would want to optimize the space, but I do appreciate the character of this, you know, like there's just so much of like, it's not the space isn't being optimized to its best. And I feel like that's the detail oriented like Virgo everything of, we need to make things like, we need to make this fit perfectly in this corner. Whereas a lot of, I mean, my Capricorn likes things well done, but my Sagittarius will very often be like, good enough. Like it's good enough. Like slap it in the window, close it. It's working, you know? Yes. So I do, but then I totally benefit from having Virgo energies in my life, and like the caretaker energy. And this is again like just, I feel like so much of this is my experience in contrast to my Sagittarian energy. But like my cat is the best. He's a Pisces. He's a Sag moon, and he has a tendency of absolutely flipping a switch and going wild and then being back to being a stuffed animal. And so it was in one of the little playful moments where he completely attacked my leg and I'm just bleeding and it's pretty bad. And I'm just like, I'm okay, grab a paper towel and move on. I'm cooking dinner. And then I like turn around and my boyfriend is in the kitchen with the first aid kit. He sat on the floor and he's like disinfecting and cleaning and bandaging. And I'm just like, my like, this is going to take too much time and energy, just like wipe it off and move on, which I recognize is not the best way to handle blood. But like, okay, and I'm just like, wait, what are you doing like that? Because it's such a tendency of being cared for. And
I think that really just like encompasses all of the Virgo qualities we were saying before about how like, the grounding and the caretaking and the acts of service and yes, all of that. And this, detail oriented.
Exactly. Detail oriented. And then like the next day, I was going out, like I was going to be out in the city for a while, and he's like, I'm going to change your bandages before you go out so that like it's, keeps you protected from like the dirty city, like whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't even remember I still have bandages on. Like I'm just in like my Sag go energy, and the Virgo energy makes me feel so cared for. And lastly, I collaborate a lot with a Virgo friend. Anybody who knows me knows we've come up with this whole, I don't even know what to call it, just concept called astral yoga. And I do all these collaborations with...
Oh, she's a Virgo?
Yeah, with my friend who's a Virgo.
Okay.
And she's a yoga teacher. And like talk about the devotion for health. And like, I mean, the way in which like she cooks everything naturally, and to make everything completely like naturally, meaning like she uses... I want to say like real food. Like this is, it's all coming from like good sources and really like high nutrient. And she's so aware of all of the health behind everything. But like the best example is that when we're preparing notes for things, like we've both evened out over like the years of doing this together, but she would roll up with like 3 pages of notes for these like 2-hour events we would do. And I would roll up with like bullet points on my phone that I wrote on the metro. And like, because I'm like, I know what I'm talking about. Like, let me think about it like 10 minutes before to get my thoughts together. And then sometimes I'm like, I wish I had written down dates of something ahead of time. And sometimes she's like, I spent hours writing pages of notes and I only got through a few of them. And so it's the kind of detail oriented, having everything flushed out, but then the practicality, I think, like towards self arrives with time with Virgo energy too, like, and giving yourself a little bit of a break. Like I don't actually have to do all of those things every time. I can give myself grace. I can take more time for myself. And, but I mean, she's just such a perfect example of a Virgo.
No, and I love that, how it's like you guys probably really balance each other in that way.
Absolutely.
Too.
I love that you're Libra.
Virgo. Yeah, no,
like
I love that. Give me some good balance. I love balance. Like, doesn't everybody love balance? Not as much as a Libra. Not as much as a triple Libra, for sure.
Exactly. See, that's your power play, like, because you are this triple Libra. Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you can see this, if the video is going to be cropped, but we have a little Virgo just peeking in.
We do have a little Virgo peeking in. She's single-minded.
She is.
Well, besides your daughter, we have other quick famous Virgos that we wanted to go
also,
over.
Just wanted to note, I feel like Virgos, and again, this is a big generalization, but they're like very pleasing looking, appearance wise. And I don't know if that's just a natural thing for Virgo, or maybe both. Maybe it's naturally they're very nice looking, and then on top of that they're very aware of how they look, so they make sure they look nice. But just like looking through this list, and the Virgos that I do know in real life, they're very pretty or handsome or just like good looking, I guess.
I love that your Libra is noticing that.
I know.
Like, it's also
because I see the beauty.
Yeah, see the beauty, but also you appreciate a balanced face, a balanced, like, or just like beautiful. Like, I think so much of Virgo also rules the gut. Like, gut health is huge for Virgos. Okay. Like Sagittarius rules the hips and thighs. Like Libra is the back. Like Virgo is the stomach and the digestive systems and everything. So I think that Virgos, with their perfectionism, but they really do take care of their appearance. And I also think that they're normally not the ones wearing any excessive makeup or excessive crazy hairstyles. Like, there's a classic element
Yes,
to
classy. Very
Virgo
classy.
energy, but I also think that I'm just thinking of my friend who I work with, who's the Virgo that I was talking about. She just eats so well. She takes care of her body so well. And it's like, you know, that they say like the best skincare is the one that you eat. Like, I think that there's something about skin and hair of Virgos that are also just really lovely because of how they take
Yes.
care of the inner health and health in general. Yeah.
Also, I think this is very true for Virgo rising. If you're an ascending Virgo, because that's all about
Your appearance.
outward, your appearance. So yeah, as I'm thinking of the ascending Virgos that I know, and they kind of have the same situation going
And also,
on.
we've talked about this. Like, I feel like Virgos can so easily get the ick. Like, I'm thinking about one of my good Virgo friends as well. Like, she was like, no, the way that this guy ate cereal, like, unacceptable, like, absolutely unacceptable. And then also thinking of like another friend who was talking about like her and her partner when, you know, like, there's no way they're getting intimate if the sheets are not like fresh, and if his teeth aren't brushed, and like there are qualifications for that. And I think she has
Yeah.
she's not a Virgo, but she has, I think, Virgo, Mars, and Venus. And so like those are other ways in which, if you're not a Virgo but you have Virgo placements, it might show up in certain areas of your life. And we talked about the teeth brushing thing.
The tooth, yeah, yes, toothbrush, yes. But there was also one of your friends. I think the story was her husband was like an animal with toothpaste, and was like, you squeeze the toothpaste out like a normal human, and she was like, it's like he clenches it.
It
in
was
his fist when he
unacceptable.
uses it. And
Yeah.
I think they had their own like she had her own toothpaste and he had his own toothpaste, because she was like, I
can't
even
deal with
look at
this.
how
Like,
he
she just want. I think it was that, like, and you know, if you're listening, you know who you are, and you can tell me if I'm correct about this. But I think it was that I brought my toothpaste over when I was sleeping over her place, and she made some sort of comment about like, oh, like, it's nice to see you use toothpaste like a normal person. And I was like, how the hell does someone
What does
use
that even
toothpaste? And
mean?
she's like, you squeeze it from the bottom up, not by grabbing it like an animal and squeeze. And it was just like, you could tell all the pent up rage inside of her about how her partner like used the toothpaste just like in a fist. And her partner's a Gemini, like there's that like.
Oh, okay, that's funny. But yeah, just it's like a microscope thing where it's
Yes.
like overall, I'm sure he's lovely, but then we're gonna zoom in on how he squeezes the toothpaste.
Exactly.
Yes.
So there is that Virgo tendency of focusing on something that annoys you so much about another person. And sometimes it's legit, and sometimes it's like, we're just going to have to let them use their toothpaste the way they use their toothpaste. We can still date them, Like that's
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
That's the Virgo lesson. You want to tell us some famous Virgos before we do our cosmic sign off?
Yes, I do. I will just read through this list in no particular order. We have Colin Firth, love him, beautiful face, beautiful acting. Keanu Reeves, I can say the same. Also, I think Keanu Reeves is a
acts of
really good
service.
example. Yes, acts of service, and he's a very does not live in excess kind of
Exactly.
person too. Where like you see him on the subway, and like he's very humble, and love him.
Yes.
Cameron Diaz, another pretty one. Jimmy Fallon, I know one of your celebrity
One of my celebrity crushes. I love Jimmy Fallon. But he's a good example of what you mentioned about humor, because we have Jimmy Fallon and we have like other comedians here. And I feel like Virgos have observational everyday humor, and that's what makes them so funny, because they will notice the tiny little thing and then be like, anybody knows how everyone like on the subway or something is whatever, and then you laugh so hard because it's so relatable. Like, I think that that's the power in Virgo humor.
Okay, and then we have Zendaya. I think I'm saying her name right. Zendaya. I don't know. I'm such a elder. I don't want to say elder millennial, but like I know her. I know who she is, but I haven't seen anything that she's been in.
Have you not seen The Greatest Showman? That's right.
No, I haven't.
Oh my
I haven't seen The Greatest Showman.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's been on my list for literal years.
Oh, that's a
but,
very Tara-friendly movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will watch it
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
I've been saying since it came out. But yes, she's lovely. I like as a person, like she has a very lovely appearance, vibe about her,
Yeah.
I think. Yes. Then we have Freddie Mercury, and I feel like he's a really good example of, in his music, how like pristine and precise and like
Yes.
it's
Yes.
friggin' love Freddie
with
Mercury.
with Freddie Mercury, I feel like, I love that with Queen they use the images of their zodiac signs to make the queen symbol. And I think that it's like a fairy or something representing Virgo. But like, I mean, also that's a great example of like looking at your whole chart, because Freddie Mercury was always like perfectly, like he knew what his appearance was going to be for every show. But Freddie Mercury is a Leo rising. And then he has like, you know, some crazy overindulging energy to him, and he's a Sagittarius moon, you know, so that's like where you see. And so that's what I was talking about, that microscope and telescope thing. Like you can see when within a person you get both of them. It could be friction, but it could also, that friction can turn into such an incredible energy, because Freddie Mercury like is iconic, you know.
Absolutely. And then we have Bill Murray, which is another good example of a funny funny Virgo. This is another funny Virgo, but we'll just do a little side note here. So Jack Black is a Virgo, apparently, in this timeline.
Okay,
suddenly.
guys, I need to know. I will make the episode longer for this. Like, is Jack Black a Virgo in the timeline that you are listening to this in? Because I swear, like, we are gonna like ponder in one of our ponder episodes timelines and everything. We kind of mentioned it a little bit in like past lives, but I swear, whenever I go over these celebrity things for the past 6 years, there are overlaps sometimes with analysis episodes. It's like I've talked about Jack Black as different characters over the past 6 years, and he is not a Virgo from like the past couple years. But I remember, I remember him being a Virgo, and then I remember analyzing things and being like, what do you mean he's a Cancer? Like, I could have sworn he was a Virgo because I thought he was one of those funny Virgos like Jimmy Fallon, John Mulaney. And also, like, my boyfriend loves Jack Black. And so I know that I would have, like, had that, oh my gosh, you're a Virgo like Jack Black. And I thought that years ago. And then the past couple times I've looked him up, he was a Cancer. And there's been talk of all the different timelines, like shifting and coming together and blending and all this stuff. And Jack Black is a Virgo in this timeline. And my brain just is like, I know what I know. I know what I know. It's like years ago when I knew that Kelly Clarkson was a Sagittarius, and then suddenly she was a Taurus. And I don't even know, is Lady Gaga a Gemini or an Aries? Sometimes she's a Gemini, sometimes she's an Aries. So it does.
Which one is she?
I don't know. I earlier today I would have said Jack Black's a Cancer, so I can't tell you. I don't know. But like, I would love to know if anybody listening is also like enraged / so curious / confused about the changing of celebrities. And like Scarlett Johansson, she has the same birthday as me, and she's always been a Scorpio. And then the last time I looked it up, she's a Sagittarius, and I'm like, I give up. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm stepping down off my soapbox. Moving on.
I definitely believe that is a thing. I think we jump timelines, and I think that people's birthdays change because Jack Black definitely gives to me more fiery vibes and Cancer. I do see him.
I could see Cancer too, and whatever. I've always thought, like, oh, okay. Apparently,
we can move on.
Jack Black is a Virgo.
Apparently, have you seen the videos where Elle and Dakota Fanning are talking about him? And I think it's Elle Fanning who's like, she has said Jack Black is her celebrity
like the most
crush.
Like attractive man in the world. Yeah.
Yes, she's like, he's just perfection. He's perfect. And like, it got back to him, and like in true Virgo fashion, so maybe he is a Virgo, he was just like, I can't take this. Like,
I can't be flattered this way.
Like almost like a, like, please stop looking at me sort of thing. Yeah, it's very funny. But I get it. I can see, I mean, like Jack Black, is he conventionally attractive? No, but like as a person,
so
like,
attractive,
and like
just, in like humor, in silly factor, in like, he's also very wholesome. You know, like he's
very wholesome.
He has his silly, like, you know, I don't know, but yeah, he's giving funny Virgo. If apparently in this timeline he is a Virgo.
Okay, and then let's move along. We're really like dragging ourselves here. Emmy Rossum, very pretty. Idris Elba, very pretty. Amy Poehler. I feel like, okay, you haven't watched Parks and Rec. Amy Poehler, you haven't watched Parks and Rec, but her character in Parks and Rec, I didn't know she was a Virgo in real life, but I feel like she may have brought over a lot of her real life self into that character, because she's a person in that show who was like, anytime there's something to do, here's my binder with all my notes. I made a scrapbook that has every single thing I had, like every bullet point, everything you could possibly need is in this binder. And she's got just like millions of binders and is very organized and very like go go go. It's very funny. You should really give Parks and Rec another chance at some point.
I know.
It's so funny.
Maybe at some point, maybe.
And that would be a really fun analysis episode too.
I feel like from what I do know of her character, she's giving Virgo, but obviously with some other things going on there. But Amy Poehler is hilarious. She is giving the visual energy of a Virgo too. That's very like there's a symmetry and a like pureness, not when she's like, not when she's like speaking on things, then we get the humor and the silly right away, but just she's giving a Virgo energy like in her appearance for sure.
Yes. And then we have John Mulaney, another one of your celebrity crushes. So apparently Virgos just do it for Ciera, because John Mulaney, Jimmy Fallon, and her boyfriend are all Virgos.
I really and Colin Firth, come on, like
Colin Firth,
Mr. Darcy, like I apparently do really have a thing for Virgos, and I think it's because I have that fiery Sagittarius energy, but then I have the Capricorn energy, which is earthy. And when you put the mutable and you put the earth there, like there's a lot of the Virgo energy that's brought with all my mutability and all my earth. And so I get it, Yeah. And even though I am not Virgo, I appreciate Virgo because it both vibes with my mutable Sag and my earthy Cap. But John Mulaney is the perfect example of like my perfect type of humor, because he's observational funny.
Yes.
And he, he will just say something that we've all experienced. It's relatable humor, because it's like Virgo energy is known as being like mundane task energy as well. And it's like, but when you can make that funny, it's so relatable, because we've all been through it. Like John Mulaney's like stand up on having just to pay so much money for university in America. Like, and we're all relating to it. And he just says it normal. Like, yeah, so you could say I paid like, $30,000. You could say, or no, it was like $120,000. You could say I paid $100,000. You could say I paid $120,000. And it's like, that's how Virgo can be funny, when they say it like it is, and then they emphasize the ridiculousness of the reality.
Yes.
I just, love
great.
John Mulaney, love Virgo humor. So that's it for Virgo energy. Let us know if for future episodes you'd like kind of this refresh of the signs in general, or if you'd be interested in something a little more specific for a sign coming up. Also, I mean, it's not to say we're not going to do another Virgo episode. It might be a minute, but if you're really interested in a specific Virgo placement, like Virgo Mars, Virgo Venus, you can let us know, but you can also send us a cosmic sign-off about that specific question. We did have a Virgo question from, I think, like one of our very first episodes, from a Virgo about their chart. So feel free to ask us that.
Yeah. And if you have any funny stories to tell, if you're a Virgo or have Virgo placements and you just want to share little silly things like how you walk around the table, or if you build custom shelves, like I love to hear that. I love when you hear the stories and it's like, yes, that's very Virgo, or very anything, whatever we're talking about.
When you're a Sagittarius and you moved across the world to France, like, that's...
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. That's what you do when you're a Sagittarius.
Exactly. All right. So we have a cosmic sign off from, we don't know what sign, but we know they're an air sign. They say, hi, stars made me do it. I know I have some spiritual gifts, and I'm typically very reluctant to explore those gifts or even open that door. I've heard that being a water sign makes you more open to spiritual gifts, but I'm not one. What other placements might suggest having these types of abilities, and what placements can I look to help protect myself if I ever decided to open that door? Signed an air sign in Arizona. This feels very tarot friendly.
This is tarot friendly as an air sign, and as someone, I have the gift. No, I don't know what I have, but I don't play with it. I don't mess around with it. I am like this person, reluctant to open the door to those things, because you don't know what you're gonna let in, and I get that. Like, I mean, as kids, I feel like we messed around way too much with the Ouija board. Definitely. you have to be careful
Yeah.
about what you let in. And I am by no means an expert in this area, but yes, you need to protect yourself and make sure you're not letting in anything you don't want to let in. Placement wise, you're going to have to talk about this because I know it's like a 12th house thing where I have a lot of things in my 12th house which apparently make for a spiritual person and a person who can here we go. Libra's drifting off. A person who can bring me back down, pull me back down, Virgos. Just someone who might have an ability to, even, I'm not sure what she means by spiritual gifts, whether that's like, I have like psychic abilities. I can talk to people on the other side. I see ghosts. Like I see,
or just like
something
knowing
else.
things, like
just knowing things. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what she has, or maybe she has all of those abilities, and doesn't really want to tap into them too much. I myself have been told by many people that I should try to tap into it. But I'm reluctant too, because I don't know what I'm going to tap into. So,
well, this is interesting because I just had like a little retreat with my Virgo friend that we do this astral yoga with. We did a retreat. And one of the incredible women that we were there with, she is a Cancer. So water sign, like, like this air sign mentioned, like water signs do have a tendency or they're known for having those abilities. And I had a big conversation with her because she said, I know I have this ability. I know I've seen things. I know, but I'm so afraid of it. And so I like keep that door shut, but sometimes it like creeps out and all these things. And I had like such a huge talk with her about it to try to be helpful of like, I mean, I'm sure I've said some of these things to you because I'm one of those people who I'm like, use your abilities, tap into them. But I think like, okay, so first of all, without getting into the astrology of it, I think a huge factor is protection, but I think it's also confidence in self and realizing that you are the authority of your life, even in unknown, potentially scary situations. Like if you're thinking of, let's say you are someone who talks to dead people, who like sees ghosts or whatever, and it's at night and you're feeling creeped out, like you totally have the power of being like, I am not accepting any communication during this time, but you have to really embody it. It makes me think of like the Patronus in Harry Potter. Like it can be so hard to think of a happy thought when you're feeling scared, but the moment that you embody it and that you really latch onto it and that you push out all that magical white light glowing power, you're like, it doesn't matter how dark it is. I'm the authority here. I have the power to protect myself. And so I think in any situation, whether or not it feels scary or it's just something that you're opening yourself up to the unknown, I think it's really important to be so solid and confident and sure in yourself, because that is the most powerful protection. I also think you can do things like, I remember as kids when we were using the Ouija board, we had like a special spray. We always wiped off the board afterwards. Like we did try to do like things to protect us. I do think that because I think intention is huge. So that's why I will say for protection is having like the confidence in yourself, because you do have the ability to open and close the door. And it doesn't mean the door has to stay shut all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But for, you don't have to be a water sign to have spiritual gifts. I mean, Tara is the perfect example of being an air sign that has spiritual gifts. But like you said, you do have 12th house placements. I'm a fire sign. I've definitely got spiritual gifts. I have 12th house and 8th house placements. Typically, we did talk about this in the past lives pondering episode, about like past life placements, and I think that they can often overlap with spiritual gifts. I think typically if you have a water Mercury or Mercury in one of the water houses, meaning the 4th, 8th, or 12th house, because that water is known as being very intuitive. And so I have a fire Mercury, but it's in the 12th house. And so I have like that, extra intuitive energy there with those 12th house vibes. I have my my South Node and my Jupiter and my Chiron all in the 8th house, which is very past life related. And a lot of my spiritual gifts deal with past lives. So it makes sense that it would be in a past life part of my chart. And so again, I only have Pluto and Scorpio. That's my only water placement, but I do have major placements in watery houses. So I would say that's a way of looking for your spiritual gifts or abilities is if you feel like you have it and you're trying to like point out why, I guess, see if do you have, even if you're like, for example, if you're in Aries, but your Mercury's in Pisces, you're a fire sign, but you might have that watery Mercury that makes you feel really connected to some sort of spiritual gifts. Or if you have some of like prominent placements in either especially the 12th and 8th house, but I would say the 4th house too. Or if it's like aspecting like Neptune, because Neptune is like dreams and, like if you have your Mercury right next to your Neptune, you might get, it might be foggy and confusing and hard to articulate things or remember things, but then your dreams might be out of control, wild. And check your moon too. Like if you've got a water moon and that's like memories and like emotions, or water Venus. So yeah, I feel like any water placements, any 8th, 12th, 4th house placements would be like where you'd find those spiritual gifts. And then for like a really cool question, I like this of, what placements can I look to help protect myself? That is, I don't know. I just never really thought about that. Like I've thought about the spiritual gifts placements, but where to look to protect myself. I mean, Saturn is all about boundaries. And I would say like, I feel like once you've gone through your Saturn return, your boundaries in general are a lot more solid. But you can look to your Saturn. That is like the restrictions and rewards. You can also just look to like your like, what's your sun sign? That's your main character energy. Like, I'm a Sagittarius. Like I feel like I have to be in a positive mood. I have to be assuming things are going well. I have to be in this optimistic, whereas like if you're a Scorpio, you need to be with very trusted people or alone in a completely like, I think I could just, the depths that you need to go in, you need to, I feel like such ritual protection. Oh, Virgo's very ritual energy too. I will say that if you're still listening from the Virgo section, very ritualistic. So I would say if you're a Virgo, like, okay, I know that every time I do this, I light a candle, I say my little prayer, I, put the salt circle, and then I blah, whatever it is, like there's a ritual part of it. So I would look to your strengths in your chart, but then I'd also look to your Saturn. Like you and I are both Saturn and Capricorn. And I think once we decide we're the boss, then that's how it is. Like this is my show. This is my enterprise. This is my, like, I'm the boss here. So, and like Pisces Saturn can have a really difficult time with boundaries. And so I think like if you've got Pisces Saturn, that's got to be, you really have to have a strength in your boundaries there, but you also like an understanding of, hey, we're all energy, because Pisces doesn't really have boundaries in general. We're all energy. And so, I can't tell you what to do. You can't tell me what to do. Like we're all just energy flowing.
I was going to ask for a Saturn in Pisces. Is it they have difficulty with other people's boundaries or difficulty with their own boundaries?
Both. I would say in general, it's typical for Pisces Saturn to have difficulty with enforcing their boundaries, but it can also definitely work both ways. Where,
I don't know if I know any Saturn Pisces people, but
if you're born in like 94, 95, at least that in this little generational pocket, or if you are born in like, I guess 1964-ish as well.
Okay.
It's like
every 30 years.
About 30 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So thanks for this awesome question, though. I would say don't be afraid of your spiritual gifts. It's easier said than done, but be the authority of it in whatever way works best for you. And you have to have that confidence in it. If you do decide to open the door, being an air sign doesn't mean you're any less, I guess, able to have spiritual gifts. Everybody can have spiritual gifts, but it's definitely a predisposition to have those easily accessible. If you have those houses or those watery placements kind of activated in your chart.
And then also just not really astrology related, but if you're looking to get in, I mean, something that I found helpful was to practice like saging at your house. If you feel you have good energy at your house anyway, but you just like do this and do the thing where you're the authority. This is my house. Only good energy is allowed here, and go through and do it like that, where like practice on a smaller scale.
Yeah,
Before you're
in
gonna
in
delve
daylight,
deeper.
in a good mood.
Yes.
That's like that's such a good idea. Yeah, instead of being like, how do I have my own authority when it's nighttime and there's something spooky
Yeah, no,
happening?
don't
It's
whip out the Ouija board and the candles
Yeah.
in the at midnight on
Unless you're a Scorpio, that's what they would do. We love
but
you.
maybe this person don't do that.
Yes. I'm like, our 6 times Scorpio self is definitely.
Oh, we've been there.
Oh,
We've done that.
yeah,
It's been 3 in the morning playing with the Ouija board and the candles going, and who knows what we did.
We survived it.
We survived.
But we also definitely do try to protect ourselves. So,
Yes,
anyways.
and as an adult, that was when we were young. As adults,
Yes.
you're going to be young and reckless as an adult. Let's be a little bit safer, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Well,
if you would like to send in a cosmic sign off, you can do that to our email, thestarsmademepodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for everyone who has. And Tara, why did we talk about Virgos today?
because the stars made us do it.